Brian, so obviously you had the lead. Just kind of what's the thought of, then you lose it, you tie the game. Kind of what's the feeling of the locker room, and what's your take on that?
Well, it's a little quiet in the locker room, and rightly so, because I think guys are disappointed. I think we're disappointed not being able to close it out, and given a goal away like that, where it's individual duels, that hurts a little bit. But overall it was a good game, two good teams. I mean, LAFC is a good team. We're a good team. Both teams created chances. I thought some of Steph's saves were unbelievable. We had some good chances. Maybe could have got the second. A little stagnant there in the second half, but still created some decent half chances. So overall, disappointed. We dropped a couple points. But it's MLS. It's a hard league. There's plenty more games to go.
John?
Start of the day 1-1 against the league's best team currently. Seems like a good result.
No.
Do you feel disappointment that, having lost the lead
Yes.
and not getting 1-0, 2-0?
Yes, absolutely. That's the league's best team on paper, on record. I could make an argument that we're pretty good. I think, and I answered Maz's question, yeah, we're disappointed. Disappointed. We didn't come in looking at LAFC as, Supporters Shield winners. They're just the leaders. We knew we were in for a good fight. I actually enjoyed my conversation with Steve. He seems like a nice guy and he's a good coach. So overall, again, what you saw was a couple of teams that were going after it pretty good. Game got a little chippy at the end, and don't want to be cliche or anything, but that's playoff type soccer.
Go ahead.
Coach, could you just evaluate how you feel like the defense played today?
Good. Played good up until a couple of plays, but it's hard when you lose. It's hard when you lose a center back. That's where I'll have to do some reflection on my own job as a coach. Do I bring AB on? We had Kellen coming up. Did I push Nuhu inside, which he can play. He can play inside as a center back, and I opted to put Kellen back there, but maybe AB and Nuhu's there, and Kellen was going to be the sub in midfield. So I'll reflect on our decisions as a coaching staff. But overall, I thought the team defended fairly well. They were going to get some chances.
How did that goal kind of unfold from your perspective?
Well, you guys will see it. Came off a goal kick. Will chested it down. Albert tried to make a pass. They won possession of the ball. Nuhu thinks he gets fouled, but it's not. Another challenge in the air. And, the ball goes back to Arango, and he's got instincts inside the penalty box. Steph is kind of frozen there because, he doesn't know exactly where the play is going to be, and they score. So individual duels and being better in our possession with the ball off a goal kick and trying to get the ball in their half of the field.
Before we go to our next question, just a reminder for those on Zoom, if you have a question there, please hit the raise hand function button. We'll be coming to you shortly. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
El primer tiempo, el Sanders tuvo varias ocasiones de gol. ¿Qué le faltó al equipo para poder consolidar un triunfo el día de hoy? Segunda pregunta, ¿cuál es la situación de Raúl Ruiz Díaz en cuanto a su lesión? Y la tercera y última es ¿cuánto pudo influenciar los resultados del Sanders el haber obtenido la CONCACAF Champions en que Seattle sea elegido como una de las sedes para el próximo campeonato mundial? Gracias.
Es una larga pregunta.
It's three questions. Three questions, so I'll try my best. All right, so the first question was, there were many chances that we had during the first half that were not closed.
Okay.
What do you think was missing that didn't allow us to close those chances?
Okay.
So that's question number one. Question number 2 is, what is Raúl Ruidíaz's situation right now based on the injury? And then the third question is, how much do you believe influenced the fact that we won the CONCACAF Championship game on the decision, on FIFA's decision on giving Seattle the World Cup location?
Okay, chances in the first half, yes, we created many. The final pass, the final action, the final shot. It's always, it's hard to score goals in our league, in our sport. That's never 10-8 or 9-7 or scores like that. It's hard. But I thought we created some good moments in the first half. I thought we were good in the first half. As far as Raúl is concerned, he has a minor hamstring injury, and we'll keep you guys updated. But he's out for this game, obviously, and then probably Sporting KC for sure as well. And then as far as Champions League, I believe, creo que, that the fans, the stadium for the Champions League final versus Pumas did help, because there were FIFA officials at that game, and they saw the atmosphere in our stadium, and I think that helped. The fans helped.
Thank you. So la respuesta es cerrar el último tiro al arco es siempre complicado y difícil. Estamos en una liga complicada y difícil donde las opciones normalmente son 10 de 8, o 8 de 10, 7 de 9, y hay que crear muchos chances para tratar de tener una alta probabilidad de anotar, y eso nos faltó hoy día, o sea que no tenemos que seguir trabajando en eso. Pero al fin y al cabo sí pensé que el partido fue un partido bueno y hubieron buenos chances. La segunda pregunta con respecto a la situación de Raúl, tiene un jalón menor en el posterior y ha estado fuera de este partido, va a estar fuera del partido contra Kansas City lo más probable también, o sea que todavía estamos viendo poco a poco cómo viene su recuperación. Y con respecto a la tercera pregunta, definitivamente tanto el estadio como los fans o los fans que vinieron al estadio el día del partido de la final, definitivamente afectó porque habían miembros de la FIFA durante ese partido, y la atmósfera que se logró crear en el estadio realmente creo yo que afectó la decisión que la FIFA tuvo con respecto a incluir a Seattle como sede del Mundial.
Y muchas palabras respecto para nuestro traductor, eh? Okay. We'll go up to Zoom next. Charlie Boehm, I see you got your hand raised. Thank you for that. Go ahead with your question.
Hey, Coach, I know you're back above the playoff line and at 500 now, but it seems like there was a sort of a clinical ruthlessness that you had during CCL that maybe doesn't always quite been there in the league. I wonder if you feel like you're where you want to be in terms of the mentality of the team. Is there something missing still, or was today a blip in that sense?
Well, we were pretty clinical against Vancouver. We were pretty clinical in some other games. This game, you have to understand that the first game back for internationals is always challenging. So Jordan, Christian, I thought Christian was really motivated. I thought Jordan was good. Albert was good. He obviously scored the goal, but sometimes that takes its toll. Obviously, you saw that with Javi. And so some of those moments, they haven't been with their teammates for a while. It takes time to gel. That could be one possible cause. The other one is, it's just, again, it's MLS. And we can't take our foot off the gas. We can't take breaks at any point during a season, especially against a good team like LAFC.
And just one follow-up, do you expect to see them in meaningful games at the business end of the season? What was your evaluation of that team after facing off firsthand today?
Well, very good. Again, well-organized, good team, quality players. But they're not perfect either. We're not perfect. They're not perfect. Everybody's got flaws. I thought we were able to put them under pressure in certain moments of the game, but we just couldn't find that second goal, or we needed to do a better job on that play, and maybe we get the 3 points.
Okay, final call for questions on Zoom before we close with a couple here in the room. Felipe, I see you have your hand up. If there are no others, we'll let Felipe close out the Zoom portion. Go ahead.
Coach Brian, I'm seeing that you're giving to Obed a lot of minutes. He has played very important games for you, and today's match wasn't an easy one. Do you consider him as a starter, or he's still room to grow to take that position?
Well, he has room to grow, but he's also started a lot of games for us. I think with young players, there's always ups and downs. He certainly has had many, many good games. You know, he's dealing with a little bit of a back issue. He got hit in training the other day, so I didn't think that was his best performance today. But certainly he's a super talented kid. You saw some of the, ideas he has, his ability to dribble and figure out ways how to get around opponents, I think is very good. I think his range is very good. So, today might not have been his best day, but his best days certainly are going to come with the Sounders.
Thank you.
All right, we'll close with a few in here. Chris Francis there, back row.
Coach, you mentioned Steph. I feel like, though, we're kind of like just used to the way he's. We are glossing over, especially those 2 point-blank saves in the second half. They were pretty phenomenal. And then do you have an update on Javi by chance, if anything on Javi?
No update on Javi until we get an MRI tomorrow. We'll see how bad it is. And yes, look, Steph's save in the first half that he gets the ball smashed in his, in his stomach, and he's tough enough to make that save and continue in the game, and all that. Goalkeeper's a tough position. And yes, I did watch the highlight of those 2 saves in my coach's office before I came out here. They were unbelievable saves. He continues to keep us in games, and that to me is why he is in the conversation with the national team, why he's in the conversation for best goalkeeper of, our time, MLS time, whoever wants to make that argument. I think you could put him in that discussion, and he's still got a lot of life in him. So hopefully we'll be seeing him around for quite some time.
Roshan, do you have another one?
I was going to ask you about Javi, but you just answered that. How do you feel like Nuhu played at center back, aside from the goal?
Well, it's fine. It's not his natural position, but he can play there. But we'll assess that. Again, I'll reflect on my decision there, and we'll move forward.
All right, a couple more. John, did you have one?
After this game tonight, Coach, and in preparation for Kansas City, what's going to be the message to the team this week in training?
Well, I haven't thought about that yet. I know what the message was after the game, but looking ahead to Kansas City, I guess, since you put me on the spot, it would be that's a dangerous team because they haven't done well so far this league season. But again, Peter's a good coach. They'd love to come here and stick it to us, so it's not going to be an easy game at all.
Last 2, Maz, and then over here.
Brian, I just want to go back to the goal and how your goal and how that was manifested in terms of the high press and then you guys forcing a turnover. Just talk about that.
That's who we are. If you looked at the goals that we scored against Vancouver the other day, Leo Chu's dribbling, he maybe gets fouled, whatever, but Raul picks up that loose ball, goes in, Freddie earns a penalty. That came out of a little bit of pressure, being on the front foot early in that game. Second goal, tactics, playing in between lines, the entry ball into Jimmy to Raul, killing that game, finding passes between the lines. We practice that all the time, trying to play in between windows, between lines. The third goal, that early cross from Chu to Raul, again, that's how we play. Those are moments that we train. And, Alex's goal, you would say, changing the point of attack is important for us. We measured that all the time, and Danny Lave is able to open up the field for that goal. Tonight, that goal that Albert scores is exactly who we are or who we would like to be at home. So the ball's there and they're part of the field, but it's not the first pressure, it's not the second, it's not the third, even the fourth, but Nico and Christian were all pushed over there. They're hounding them, they're pressing. They're trying to find a solution to get out. And then the ball comes back to the goalkeeper who's under pressure now, pressure's been building, and he decides to make that pass. And Albert's smart enough to jump on it. So that's something we want to do at home, make teams feel that pressure. And sometimes you're not always going to win it on the first ball. You know, it's the second, third, fourth pass that you actually achieve your objective.
Final question.
Hey, Coach. Jordan, I think created something like 5 chances. 2 of them qualified as big chances. He didn't have a ton of touches, but the touches he had were pretty dangerous. Was finding him in space something you were specifically looking at for this game, or is that just something that comes out of Jordan's really good and he's great in space?
Well, yes, we always try and play to the strengths of our players. Jordan's ability to get behind, to play out in the wing channels 1v1, obviously those are his strengths, so that's common sense. We just try and get Jordan the ball in the right spots and he does the rest.